So let's dig into your background. Now, thank goodness you've been on the right side for several years.
Yeah, 11.
Over a decade. I was going to say over a decade.
Over a
now.
decade now.
But in your prior life, when you were on the bad side, I have to say that, Les, you actually represented trucking companies.
I did.
Now, that's not a bad thing. But when we talk about having someone to advocate for you because they already have someone advocating for them, I don't know that our audience really understands what that means.
Sure.
In terms of how quickly attorneys actually respond to a scene for an insurance company while a person's laying there, injured.
Right.
Family members are being notified of some sort of injury, and they're trying to figure out what to do while the defense firms and the insurance companies are already building their cases. And so give us a little war story about how quickly someone can respond to an accident.
So first and foremost, I don't want to, there's a lot of good trucking people
Absolutely.
out there. I mean,
Absolutely.
look, I'll say it now, I'll say it again.
But don't take shots at them, we can take shots at the insurance companies.
The trucking industry, I mean, they drive the economy, but there are some bad actors.
Sure.
And it's a small percentage of those bad actors that give a bad name to the industry as a whole. So I don't want people thinking that we're anti-truck. We're not anti-truck.
Absolutely not.
We're very much a pro-safety type of a thing. But we want people to do it, but we want people to do it right. But some of the things we do, when I was a defense lawyer and I represented trucking companies, I remember getting a call in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm licensed in Florida and Georgia. This case happened to be in Albany, Georgia, and I got a call from a trucking company at 2:30 a.m. saying, "Hey, Les, we just had one of our trucks run over a pedestrian and kill him." Within 4 hours of me getting a call. Now, I'm living in Tallahassee at the time. Albany, Georgia is a good 2.5, 3 hours north. Within 4 hours, I'm on the scene. I've got my accident reconstruction expert. I've got my photographer, professional photographer out there to document things. I've got a private investigator out there. We are interviewing everybody that's out there. We're interviewing law enforcement. We're also isolating the truck driver. We're getting him away from talking.
Right.
Because, people, I just looked down for a second. They make that statement. Next thing you know, it goes on a record. So on the defense side of things, we're trying to isolate that driver so they don't say anything off the cuff that could come back to haunt them. Right. But at the same time, we're also locking down the scene. We're locking down the truck. We're locking down the evidence. We're talking to anybody that's on the scene. We're canvassing the area. Before the sun even comes up, we have a very good idea of what's going on.
Right.
Now, when I switch side to the plaintiff side, this is something you and I talked about when I first came to work with Perry & Young. I said, guys, this is something we need to do on this side because it really can create an unfair advantage for the insurance company and the trucking company if people that are victims don't have that same type of diligence on their side.
Well, have someone advocate for you. And the great thing about it for us, we don't charge our clients anything unless we recover for them. So, there are cases that we take and ultimately there's no recovery, maybe there's no insurance or something crazy happened, and we don't charge that client any fee, but we work on a contingency fee, and that's a great opportunity for someone to take advantage of, to have someone represent them, because Lord knows, we both know that insurance companies have people on staff 24 hours a day. So just to be clear, the trucking company just reported the accident to their insurance company.
That's right.
And that's what they did, what every responsible party is supposed to do.
That's right.
It's the insurance companies who are ahead of the game, and they have this great lobby that allows them to have laws written in a certain way that they can actually get out into the scene and gather all this information, whereas the person who's actually injured or their family who is suffering a loss, they're going through some type of grief, putting the pieces back together, and the last thing that they're thinking of.
It's the last thing they're thinking of.
And that's the first thing that an insurance company is thinking
of. And God forbid, I hope nobody in our viewing audience tonight has to go through that. But if you find yourself in that situation, or if you have a family member or a friend or a neighbor that finds themselves in that situation, I promise you, they are not going to be thinking about getting legal representation when something like that happens. They're not going to be doing it. Do your friend, do your family member, do them a favor. Say, look, I know you don't want to think about this right now. I know you need to take care of what's most important. Go ahead and get a lawyer involved. It's not going to cost you anything. And at a minimum, you're going to have somebody that knows what they're doing, knows how to document things, knows how to find the evidence and build the case working for you. So, like I said, I hope that never happens to anybody watching, but if it does, that's what we're here.